All right, welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're not just going to talk about telling a story. We are going to break down the exact blueprint for writing a narrative that absolutely smashes it and gets you those top marks.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. What if you read this? Imagine opening your door and discovering your life will never be the same. Whoa, that's a powerful hook, right? It's designed to grab your reader from the get-go and just not let go. Nailing this one technique is honestly what's going to set your writing miles apart from everyone else.
So here's the thing. Before you can even think about writing an A-plus answer, you've got to understand the A-plus question. To score high, you first have to figure out what the exam prompt is really asking you to do. It's not just about telling a good story. It's about showing off some very specific skills.
Okay, check this out. Here's a real prompt from a past paper. The moment I opened the door, I knew something was wrong. Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? But trust me, it's a trap. It's so intentionally crafted. Those words, knew something was wrong. That's not just a sentence. That's a direct invitation from the examiner to you, saying, hey, build some suspense here, create a mood. They're testing if you can do more than just list what happened next.
So, this is the million-dollar question, right? What are the examiners actually looking for? It can feel like this big secret, but you know what? The answer is super straightforward. This isn't about guesswork at all. It's about ticking the boxes on a very clear checklist.
And boom, here it is, the 6 key ingredients for a top-tier story. Seriously, think of this as the examiner's secret checklist. Of course you need a plot, duh, but to get those top marks, you also got to deliver on suspense, great characters, and really vivid descriptive language. And on top of all that creative stuff, they're looking at the technical side, you paragraphing and making sure your tense is consistent.
Okay, so knowing the checklist is one thing. Actually doing it is a whole other ballgame. A brilliant story doesn't just happen. It's not an accident. It's built on a solid foundation. And that foundation, it's your plan. In an exam, your plan is your absolute secret weapon. I'm talking a few minutes of planning can be the difference between a meh story and a truly great one.
And the plan doesn't have to be complicated. It should be simple and quick. Just 3 steps. Step 1, the conflict. What's the main event? What goes wrong? Step 2, the scene. Who's in your story and where is it all going down? And step 3, this is the big one, the language. This is where the magic happens. You need to brainstorm those awesome, high-impact sensory phrases before you even start writing. That way you have them in your back pocket, ready to drop in.
All right, so we've got our checklist, we've got our plan. Let's get our hands dirty and actually put this thing into practice. We're going to build a story from scratch using a classic 4-part structure. And yeah, we'll use that open the door prompt and imagine a kind of home invasion scenario. First things first, the hook. Your opening paragraph has one job, and one job only, to grab the reader by the collar and yank them into your world. It's got to set the tone, hint at the conflict, and basically make it impossible for them to look away.
So here's what that looks like in the real world. You start by using the prompt word for word, but then you immediately start layering in those juicy details, sensory stuff like a chill ran down my spine, and even personification like the chaos screamed at me. I love that. And then you hit them with that final sentence, little did I know. That's a classic cliffhanger, man. It's you, the writer, making a promise to the reader that this story is about to go somewhere big.
Okay, part 2, the build-up. This is where you become a master of tension. You've hooked them, right? Now you got to reel them in, but do it slowly. Make them desperate to find out what's coming next. This whole section is all about crafting that edge-of-your-seat suspense.
And how do you do that? You focus on the internal stuff, the character's feelings and what they're sensing. See how it says, my heart pounded? Bam, we're right inside the character's head. And then there's that amazing phrase, time seemed to slow. That is a classic, top-tier move. You're stretching out a moment of pure tension, making the reader feel that fear, second by agonizing second.
And now, the main event, the climax. This is it, the peak of all the action, all the emotion. Every bit of tension you've been building up so carefully, it all explodes right here. This part needs to be fast, intense, and a huge turning point for your main character.
You can feel the shift, right? The pace just picks up with these short, punchy phrases like I screamed for help, only to be silenced. And then by throwing in actual dialogue, comply and you live. Whoa. The stakes are suddenly through the roof. It makes the threat feel so real, so immediate, and absolutely terrifying. All right, last but not least, the resolution. Look, a great story doesn't just stop. it has to conclude. You have to resolve the main problem, and this is super important for top marks. You have to take a second to reflect. What changed? What did the character learn from all this?
This is how you absolutely stick the landing. The crazy action part is over, but the story's not done yet. The character looks back on what happened, you see that phrase, "forever changed my life," and they spell out the lesson. Doing this shows the examiner that you're not just telling a story, you actually understand how a mature narrative works.
So let's be real. Getting the structure right, that'll get you a pass, for sure. But if you're aiming for that A+, you need to add that final layer of polish. These are the pro tips, the little things that will make your story go from good to absolutely brilliant.
I want you to think of this as your final checkup before you hand it in. Ask yourself, are my sentences varied? Am I using long flowing sentences to build atmosphere and then short punchy ones when the action kicks off? Am I using different words instead of repeating the same ones over and over? And is that four-part structure really clear in how I've set out my paragraphs? These little details, they make a massive difference.
Let's just look at this side by side. It's so clear. Instead of writing something boring like "he walked into the room," you write, "every step echoed like thunder as he stepped inside." See the difference? Instead of "he was very scared," you use that killer sensory phrase, "a chill ran down my spine." This is the heart of it all. Showing, not telling. You're turning a plain old sentence into a real, vivid experience for the reader.
All right, we've gone through the examiner's checklist, we've laid out the entire blueprint. We even built a story together, piece by piece. We've given you all the tools. Now, it's your turn to be the architect and build your own.
So let's boil it all down. What's the core strategy? This is your A+ formula, right here. A clear four-part structure, a relentless focus on building suspense, dropping in those elite high-impact phrases, and finishing with a smart, thoughtful reflection. That's it. That's your recipe for success.
So the only question left is, which story are you going to write first? Here are 3 real-deal prompts to get you started. Remember, the real key to mastering all of this isn't just knowing the formula in your head, it's actually practicing it. So grab one of these prompts, use the blueprint we just went over, and I promise you'll be ready for any story they can throw at you.